Elon Musk just made a jaw-dropping announcement about the Boeing Starliner astronauts that has the entire space community buzzing, and it is not good. In case you missed it, the SpaceX CEO, Musk said the stranded Boeing Starliner's astronauts are not with us anymore. Now, before you start panicking, let's unpack this a bit. While Musk's words might sound dramatic, there's definitely more to this story than just a good old-fashioned rivalry between aerospace giants. This whole situation is actually a drastic reminder of just how delicate and dangerous our curiosity can be. You see, as humans continue pushing the boundaries of space exploration, we're constantly confronted with this crazy duality. On one hand, there's the sheer experience of venturing into the unknown. I mean, can you imagine what those astronauts must be feeling right now, floating weightless among the stars? But on the other hand, the risk is not coming back. One wrong move, one tiny design flaw, and suddenly everything can come crashing down. And that's exactly what seems to be happening with the Boeing Starliner program. Why is this a big deal? Well, this spacecraft was supposed to be the next big thing in reliable crew transportation to the International Space Station. But after a series of technical glitches and setbacks, the poor Starliner and its stranded astronauts are now caught in a precarious limbo, raising serious concerns about the future of human spaceflight. I don't know about you, but this whole situation has made me feel a bit uneasy, to say the least. I mean, can you imagine being one of those astronauts, stranded in this vast space, not knowing when or if you'll make it back home? It's the stuff of nightmares, really. And with Elon Musk's recent comments now swirling around, it just adds another layer of uncertainty and fear to an already tense scenario. But when it comes to the final frontier, space is like a place without rules. There's just no telling what could occur at any moment. So what's happening exactly? You see, there are a couple of poor astronauts currently trapped aboard the International Space Station, and it's all thanks to the ongoing drama surrounding Boeing's troubled Starliner spacecraft. These brave souls were only supposed to be up there for a little while, but now they're just kind of stuck. Can you imagine being cooped up in a tin can, floating endlessly above the Earth with no clear end in sight? It's enough to make my head spin just thinking about it. And the thing is, this whole situation is about way more than just a couple of stranded astronauts. This crisis cuts to the very heart of human spaceflight, threatening the core principles of safety, reliability, and timeliness that we simply can't compromise on. I mean, just picture the psychological toll this must be taking on those astronauts, not knowing when or if they'll make it back home. And then there are the logistical nightmares NASA has to deal with, trying to keep them supplied and taken care of up there. Yikes! But perhaps the biggest issue here is the erosion of trust in Boeing's Starliner program. This spacecraft was supposed to be the savior, the key to restoring America's dominance in space exploration. Instead, it's become a symbol of failure and doubt. Technical glitches, costly delays. It's enough to make you wonder if Boeing has any idea what they're doing up there. And you know what that means for NASA? A whole lot of headaches, that's what. I mean, how can the agency possibly plan for future missions when one of their essential partners is struggling to even get astronauts to the International Space Station and back? It's a total mess, folks, and it's got everyone on the edge of their seats. But you know what they say? Where there's crisis, there's also opportunity. Maybe this whole debacle will be the wake-up call the space industry needs to really double down on safety, reliability, and innovation. After all, the future of human exploration depends on getting this right. So here's hoping those stranded astronauts find their way back to Earth soon, and that Boeing can get its act together before the whole Starliner program comes crashing down. Let me explain. How did we get here? It all started back in 2019 with the Starliner's first uncrewed test flight, which was supposed to be a routine demonstration, the kind that paves the way for even bigger and better things. But man, did that test flight go off the rails. Instead of showcasing the spacecraft's capabilities, it was crippled by some major software issues. The Starliner couldn't even properly dock with the International Space Station. Talk about a letdown. And the problems just kept on coming after that. Boeing found itself trapped in a seemingly endless web of technical delays, budget overruns, and regulatory roadblocks. I mean, the development of modern spacecraft is already an insanely complex process, but Boeing has really taken that to a whole new level, Costs have skyrocketed, timelines have been pushed back, and frustration is boiling over, not just at NASA, but throughout the entire aerospace industry. But you know what's even more concerning than all the technical hiccups? The safety issues. And with all the problems plaguing the Starliner program, there are serious doubts about the overall reliability of the spacecraft. Alarms being raised left and right, with NASA's initial confidence in Boeing steadily eroding. After all, when you've got astronauts' lives hanging in the balance, there's absolutely no room for error. Boeing has to deliver a spacecraft that not only meets the safety standards, but absolutely crushes them. The pressure is on big time. So now Boeing finds itself in a precarious position. They've got to not only restore confidence in their troubled Starliner, but also in the broader mission of guiding humanity into this bold new era of space exploration. Will they rise to the occasion and overcome these seemingly impossible challenges? Or will they fall victim to the overwhelming odds stacked against them? What now? How does the world react to this? Because of these two brave astronauts who were on a routine mission, minding their own business, when everything went sideways, everyone was watching the reaction of the ones responsible. These people, instead of a smooth trip back home, they found themselves stranded up there, with no clear end in sight. I can only imagine the stress and anxiety these astronauts are feeling. Forget about their regular work and experiments. They're just trying to figure out how to get back to Earth in one piece. The uncertainty of it all must be suffocating, like being lost in the vast, unforgiving void of space. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, let's talk about the Starliner spacecraft. I mean, if that thing can't even get the astronauts home, what's the point? It's a domino effect of disaster, and you can bet with each passing day, the risks associated with manned space travel become more and more clear. We're talking about the very foundations of human exploration being threatened here, folks. But you know what really took this whole saga to the next level? When Elon Musk stepped in and started spilling the tea on some hidden flaws in the Starliner. Talk about dropping a bombshell. Suddenly, everyone's scrutinizing Boeing's engineering protocols, wondering just how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's a wild ride, my friends, and it's only just getting started. These astronauts are counting on us to come through for them, and you can bet if Boeing could, they would bring them back. And right now, that is fueling these rivalry of industry giants. SpaceX versus Boeing. The implications of recent discoveries in the space world are incredibly profound and demand our attention. You see, SpaceX, which has become a key ally in NASA's commercial ventures, is now casting serious doubt on the safety of Boeing's Starliner. This situation raises significant concerns about the entire operational capabilities of the Starliner. I mean, can you imagine? With so much uncertainty looming, both NASA and Boeing have no choice but to revisit their safety protocols and really rethink their operational procedures. They need to carefully consider their plans for future manned missions. The pressure on Boeing is mounting like never before. They're facing a massive demand for transparency and accountability regarding these critical flaws. We're talking about their reputation being on the line, as well as the future of human spaceflight itself. If they don't act quickly and decisively, everything they've worked so hard to achieve could be in jeopardy. Now let's talk about Elon Musk. This guy is the epitome of ambition and innovation, and he's developed a reputation for being fiercely competitive. His comments about competitors, especially Boeing, perfectly showcase his personality, one that thrives on rivalry and a relentless desire for progress. Just recently, Musk has made headlines pointing out Boeing's shortcomings in the ongoing space race, which brings attention to the distinct contrast between his bold vision at SpaceX and the more conventional strategies adopted by traditional aerospace giants. Musk's communication style is interesting, to say the least. It's often unfiltered and packed with humor, laced with sharp and subtle remarks that seem designed to undermine his competitors. But this isn't just a strategy to provoke laughs, it's a calculated move to keep his companies front and center in an industry that moves at breakneck speed. A perfect example of this is when Musk took playful jabs at Tesla's traditional rivals, such as General Motors, highlighting their struggles to produce electric vehicles that can match up to Tesla's models. His clever messages not only raise public awareness about SpaceX, but also keep his competitors guessing. When Musk turns his eye toward Boeing, he often critiques the very essence of the company, suggesting that it epitomizes the outdated aspects of the aerospace industry. You know, the long development timelines, heaps of bureaucratic red tape, and a noticeable resistance to rapid innovation. Sure, Boeing has a rich and proud history in aircraft manufacturing and space exploration, but recent challenges, especially significant technical setbacks with the Boeing Starliner program, reveal a struggle to keep pace with Musk's bold, forward-thinking vision for space travel. Now compare that to SpaceX, which has been smashing milestones left and right, showcasing its agility and commitment to innovation. For instance, did you know that SpaceX became the very first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station? That historic achievement happened back in May 20 with their Crew Dragon spacecraft. And after that win, Elon Musk's team made headlines yet again, unveiling reusable rocket technology that dramatically cuts down the costs of space travel. The Falcon 9 rocket's first stage has already been reused over 60 times as of mid-2024. This isn't just about sustainability, it's a huge leap towards what the future of space exploration can look like. So while this rivalry might seem intense, it's ultimately a good thing for the industry. Competition drives innovation and progress. But let's not forget the real priority here, the brave people up in space. We need to focus on their safety and well-being above all else. After all, they are the ones risking it all to push the boundaries of human exploration. What will they face next? What do we do about the astronauts? Because you know those brave souls are also humans, not a challenge to be solved or other industry milestones to conquer. They are the perfect storm of stress, anxiety, and isolation that's anything but trivial. I mean, we're talking about astronauts who are trained to handle just about any challenge that comes their way. But this is something else entirely. What was supposed to be a finite mission has turned into an unplanned and grueling trip with no clear end in sight. Can you imagine the weight of that uncertainty just constantly looming over them up there? But you know what really twists the knife? The way this psychological burden intertwines with the practical challenges they're facing. As time goes on and supplies start to dwindle, these astronauts are having to confront the grim reality of rationing basic necessities, food, essential items, even simple pleasures and recreational activities. It's a recipe for a steep decline in overall health and well-being, both physical and mental. These two aspects are so strongly linked up there, you know? The isolation just amplifies everything, making it that much harder to maintain the resilience and focus they need to get through this. I don't know about you, but my heart just breaks thinking about what these astronauts are going through. The uncertainty, the discomfort, the constant threat of running out of critical resources, it's enough to make your head spin. And the worst part is there's no easy fix. No simple solution to make it all better. The fight for redemption. Boeing and NASA are currently facing an intense storm of challenges that they've got to navigate skillfully. We're talking about everything from strategizing their defense to tweaking operations and managing how the public sees them. The way these powerful organizations are responding shows that they're not just ready to face the crisis. They're feeling an urgent need to dive in and tackle it head-on. This isn't just a hiccup in the journey. It's a critical chapter in the ongoing saga of human space exploration that could shape the future. Now let's talk about Boeing's approach. Their defense is definitely not subtle. It's like shouting from the rooftops. As scrutiny rises and frustrations bubble over, Boeing has rolled out a bold declaration of their commitment to safety. When their executives come face to face with tough questions and curious looks, they've got a rehearsed mantra ready to go. These public statements are overflowing with reassurances about their safety measures, crafting a formidable arsenal meant to repair the technical issues that have popped up. Boeing totally gets how serious this situation is. They're promising to leave no stone unturned as they dive into thorough investigations. These efforts will include making crucial adjustments to the Starliner systems, all with one primary goal: ensuring that astronauts are safe and sound on future missions. The big picture? They want to build confidence, not just with NASA, but also with everyone else involved: stakeholders, the public, and investors. They're eager to showcase their dedication to producing a spacecraft that is both reliable and trustworthy. But it doesn't stop there. Boeing is also committed to improving the way their engineering processes work. Boeing's challenges go far beyond just the technical issues. They're moving into the rocky terrain of public perception, which can be a tricky and significant hurdle to overcome. The company is caught in a fierce battle. Think of it as a dual-front war. On one side, they're diligently working to fix the Starliner's problems, pouring resources and time into solving these flaws. Meanwhile, on another front, they're facing a wave of public criticism that threatens to tarnish their reputation. Recent headlines have really not been kind, painting Boeing's struggles in bold, unsettling strokes that cannot be ignored. Realizing they need to take charge of this situation, Boeing has hit the panic button and shifted into crisis management mode. This is where public relations tactics become absolutely vital. Open and transparent communication isn't just a nice-to-have. It's become an essential part of their strategy. The story they need to tell has to pivot, reflecting accountability and a strong resolution to tackle the problems head-on. Frequent press briefings and updates about their corrective actions are designed to ease worries and gradually rebuild the trust that has been shaken. Each message they release isn't simply acknowledging setbacks. Instead, they're framing these as learning opportunities, valuable lessons in their journey towards improvement. Boeing is now crafting a narrative that aims to reshape the view of failure into an inspiring story of triumph over adversity. It's all about turning what some see as a downfall into a tale of resilience and determination, an epic that showcases how they are fighting to rise above the challenges. However, the road ahead for Boeing is clearly going to be rocky. With every press briefing and safety update they share, they're not just looking to recover. They're aiming for redemption in the eyes of critics who are poised to critique their every move. Their future is uncertain, hanging in the balance while shaped by the hopes and anxieties of those adventurous enough to reach for the stars. Will they be able to take control of their narrative and restore their legacy as pioneers in aerospace innovation? That's the million-dollar question, and only time will reveal the answer. Keep an eye on Boeing because this story is far from over, and the next chapters could be truly transformative. But what about NASA's? And what's next for NASA? That's the million-dollar question. As the challenges surrounding the troubled Boeing Starliner continue to pile up like a mountain, NASA is in a tight spot that requires a serious reevaluation of its partnerships and dependencies, especially in the crucial area of crewed space missions. You see, NASA has always been known for its strong commitment to safety and exploration, but now they're facing the tough task of rethinking their strategies. Over time, NASA has forged a powerful partnership with SpaceX, and this relationship has really taken off, especially with the successful Crew Dragon missions that have sent astronauts to the International Space Station. With every successful mission under their belt, SpaceX has proven itself to be a formidable player in the realm of crew transport. Their reputation just keeps getting stronger, and that's a big deal. Now, given the rising complications with the Starliner, there's clearly a shift happening within NASA's ranks. They're increasingly realizing the need to lean more heavily on SpaceX for upcoming crew missions to the International Space Station. This is a smart move that acts as a crucial safety net for astronauts. NASA is actively exploring a range of options and considering a deeper partnership with SpaceX for their immediate and future crew transport needs. This evolution in strategy is significant. It puts Boeing firmly under the spotlight, causing their credibility and reliability to face increased scrutiny. Boeing is really feeling the heat here, and they need to step up. NASA is at a crossroads, and the decisions they make now might define the future of crewed space missions. Will they continue to work with Boeing, or is SpaceX going to take the lead? The clock is ticking, and we're all waiting to see how this gripping story unfolds. And this space drama is just getting started. So what does this mean for Boeing's future in space travel? Well, we might see a reallocation of missions and projects, which could leave Boeing sitting on the sidelines unless they can quickly prove that they've regained trust and reliability in their systems. It's like being in a race where every second counts, and right now, they can't afford to lag behind. When NASA makes decisions moving forward, their focus will be on crucial factors that simply can't be overlooked. They need to ensure safety and operational efficiency, two pillars that are non-negotiable in the world of space exploration. We live in an age where even a minor oversight could lead to catastrophic outcomes, so the stakes have never been higher. If Boeing doesn't convince stakeholders that they can be trusted, The fallout could be significant. What lies ahead isn't just another routine program rework. We're potentially looking at a total reshaping of space exploration as we know it. The implications of this situation are enormous. The big picture: since kicking off this ambitious project back in 2016, Boeing has had to pour over a staggering $1.6 billion into cost overruns. Yes, you heard that right, billion. And guess what? That number just keeps on climbing. Most recently, in the second quarter of 2024, Boeing added another $125 million to the pile, plunging them even deeper into what feels like a financial abyss. This ongoing financial pressure is not just a headache. It poses serious questions about the future of Boeing's space division. And if that wasn't heavy enough, there's a cloud hanging over them because of the type of contract they signed with NASA. Boeing's agreement is fixed price, meaning they've got to shoulder all the losses that come their way. This leaves them very little wiggle room to adapt or recover. With around $45 billion in debt looming over the company, Boeing's financial health is precariously balanced, like a tightrope walker without a safety net. Given such overwhelming financial loads, there's a critical need for Boeing to redirect its investments back into what it does best, its core business. They really need to focus on stabilizing their finances if they want to stay afloat. If the Starliner program can't find a viable path forward soon, the situation might get so dire that Boeing could be forced to consider ditching its entire space division. Just imagine that. While this is happening, SpaceX has shot to prominence as the go-to provider, having successfully completed 9 crew transport missions. That's 9 times they've launched astronauts into space and brought them back safely. This impressive track record has raised eyebrows and sparked conversations among industry experts. Many are starting to sound the alarm that the program could dangerously drift towards a monopoly, where SpaceX becomes the singular lifeline for all crew missions. Is that a scenario we really want to see play out? But it's not just about finances and competition. The Starliner crisis has also cast a harsh light on some serious cultural issues within Boeing itself. There's a growing belief that the company might be putting profits ahead of safety, and that's a huge red flag. This misplaced priority seems to have triggered a troubling exodus of talented engineers and has led to a significant breakdown in mentorship. When leadership becomes disconnected from the ground-level engineering teams, it creates a recipe for disaster, a point that has been highlighted as a major contributor to Boeing's ongoing technical troubles. And all of this is causing a rage around the world. I mean, after all, we are just exploring our environment. There is no need to make it a race and put lives in danger just to rake in profits. This is Boeing we are talking about. We are seeing them even struggle with their commercial flights. They are even putting the stop to some plane models entirely. For the most part, private companies will always focus on profit because they can't survive without it. And if they don't, taxpayers will have to pay the price. Now, is that fair for us? You tell me. You see, the space-related policies in this country are a little odd. Just look at the Voyager and all the danger we are in because our curiosity and unlimited freedom the law gives the space industry. Just like the Starliner, the Voyager had high hopes of breaking the boundary, and it did. It is the farthest human-made object in the universe, but just recently it has experienced some strange signals from unknown beings. But we can't finish all the story here, so thanks for watching this video and go watch the one we did on the Voyager one.